Okay, now that we have that back-end action done, let's go ahead and come back to our front end. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a front-end action. But first, you need to make sure that you have a variable to store all of the chats in. So we're going to check here. We have one, get chats, and it is of type collection, and it's a model of chats. So if you don't already have that, you would simply just come down here and hit add app variable, name this get chats. I'll append 2 to it. You would just keep it to just get chats, a collection, and then the model would be of chats. Okay, so if you don't have that, you need to make sure you have that variable there. Since we already have it, we can go ahead and start building out our front end action. So let's do that. Let's click on front end action. We'll click on new front end action. Don't forget to rename the action. So we'll call this get client chats by ID. Okay. And we're going to add an event of run endpoint, and we're going to choose the endpoint that we just created. So get client chats. We're going to set the response as get client chats, and then we'll append the word as to the end. The response code, we want to get that as well. So get client chat response. And then you'll notice it's asking us for the client ID. Now we're going to get that from current client, and we'll choose the ID field from here. And then make sure you hit save. Next, we're going to add an event we're going to check the condition. So we're going to make sure that that response code that we get back is going to be A200. So you'll go to add a condition, and then you'll go to event and get client's chats response. We want to make sure that that is equal to our HTTP success code, which is going to be 200, and then hit save. Next, we're going to click the 3 dots here under the condition, and we're going to add an event inside. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to actually go down to variables and set field. The variable that we want to set is going to be that variable that I told you to make sure we have set, which is the gets chat collection. The value is going to be returned from our event, and it's going to be the get client chats as, and that is the return response, and then hit save. After that, our front end actions should be complete. So now let's go back, and whenever we want that to load, we're going to actually go back to our client list. So if you look here, when we click on, for example, John Smith, we can see that this should pull back all of John Smith's chats. When we click on Becky, we wanted to pull back all of Becky's chats. So let's go ahead and click the main div here, and we're going to add a front end action, and on click is fine. The action is going to be the new action that we just created, and that's it for that. So now whenever we click this, it's going to run that action and return the chats that we selected by that current user. Now, what we need to do is we need to change this over here, because if you look here, we can see that, yeah, it's returning stuff, but it's kind of sort of weird, right? So let's go and fix that. And we're going to select this div, and then we want to go up one div in our block so that we're selecting both those messages. And then we're going to hit the gear icon, and we're going to repeat this with a variable. Now we're going to use the variable get chats, and then hit OK. So now what that's going to do is it's going to repeat this for every time we have a chat. Now let me show you what that does. So I'm going to go ahead and build the code. Now that it's complete, let's come over here, refresh the page, and let's click on Becky's name so you can see what happens. Now, as you can see, we're getting 1, 2, 3 results being returned. So obviously we want to actually have this say what the actual message was. So let's go ahead and start working on that. So the first thing we'll do here is we'll go into the span and we'll change this text to be variable, the repeating group, row, and then messages. And we're just going to repeat that down below here as well. Variable, repeating group, row, and messages. Great. Now, let's go ahead and build our code again so you can see what that did. And let's go refresh our page. And let's click on Becky. And as you can see, there is nothing there. But when we click again, there it is. So it's saying, hi, this is Becky. And this is saying, hi, this is Becky. And then this is saying, Becky, thank you for contacting us. And this is saying, Becky, thank you for contacting us. Now that might seem a little weird, but here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to check to see who the user is logged in as. And depending on who they're logged in as, we'll actually either show this red or hide this red, or show this yellow or hide this yellow. And I'll show you what that looks like here. So let's go back over. And let's click on the div here. And let's click the gear icon. And we are going to hit this show button. Now with the show button, we're actually going to choose a variable. And in this variable, what we want to check is current user ID. Now, instead of hitting OK, we're going to go back. We're going to click on formula. And we're going to copy everything that is in between the first and last bracket there. We're going to copy. And then we're going to go back. So all I did was just Control-C to copy. You can right-click and hit copy. We're going to go back, click on variable again. We're going to go to repeating group, row, sender ID. So instead of hitting OK, we're going to hit back. We'll go back to our formula section. And what we're going to do is we're going to come back in here, and remember we had copied the user ID. So let's Control-V to paste. And what we're going to say is we're going to put a exclamation mark, and an exclamation mark stands for not, and then the equal sign. So what we're saying here is if the current user ID is not equal to the sender ID, then we don't want to show that. Okay, hit OK. And we're going to do the exact opposite here. So we'll come back up, select the entire div block there. We're going to click on show. We're going to take the formula and let's paste in. Oh, actually, let's build that formula back up again. So we do have the current user ID. So let's just go back. We'll go to variable, repeating group, row, and then sender ID. Instead of hitting OK, remember we'll go back into the formula and we'll go right after the first bracket here and we'll just Control-V to paste that in. And this time we're going to say is equal to. Now in programming, you'll do 2 equal signs for it to say that it is actually true. So as you can see, we have a valid formula. If I remove one of those equal signs, you'll see it's saying it's no longer valid. But if you put the second equal sign in, it will return as valid. Go ahead and hit OK. And let's build our code now and see what happens. Now that our code is built, let's go ahead and refresh the screen. And let's choose Becky. And as you can see, it is working exactly as expected. So this says, hi, this is Becky. That's her. She's in red. And then our response is going to be in yellow. So that is working exactly as expected. In our next video, what we're going to want to do is show you how to actually program it so that you can send a message to her in this chat.